Well, hello there and good day. Thank you for joining me. I am Frost PDP, and today we're doing something a little different. We're talking about some of the issues that I've been going through in my own life right now and how it might reflect on yours, and maybe I can help you a little bit, and maybe you can help me a little bit. Normally I make video game and Dragon Ball videos, but today's a little different because I've got a lot on my mind and I'm on the cusp of making some big decisions, and so I want to sit back and talk through, at least with you, some of the things on my mind. I've entitled this a YouTube video about darkness, depression, anxiety, and getting through it all. Fancy title, right? And a little background about me, I guess. I'm an educator. I'm in a situation that I don't like at all. I'm not mentally healthy in it, and I'm going to get out of it. And I'm going to talk to you about how you can get out of it too. And unfortunately, some of this advice might be trite. It might seem like things that, like, oh, it's easy to say that, but it's hard to do. But really, in a lot of cases, you can at least have control over the initial phases of it. For example, the first thing I put down is that your environment matters. If it is toxic to you, let it go. People, we live in our environments. I live in this house that I broadcast from in this room that I play video games in, and it's generally a happy place for me, which is nice. But other environments, maybe for you it's the subway. It's a popular bone of contention. Or elevated rail in my case. I love when the train leans a little bit and it looks like it's going to fall right off the damn tracks. What a metaphor, right? Right off the tracks. For you, maybe your environment that you don't like is your home. Maybe the environment you do like is your workplace. Whatever it is, your environment matters. And if you have to, let it go or at least change it. Do what you can do. Do what you can do to have control over it. Um, if your bedroom looks bleak, add some artwork. If your living room is droll, add a toy troll. I don't know, right? I don't have all the answers. If I did, I wouldn't be making this video. I'd be making millions of dollars selling self-help books, of course, right? No, I would never really prosper in that environment. But your environment matters. The bottom line is where you are helps shape all the rest of these things. Next is your occupation matters. It will never be perfect, but it must be agreeable. Now, nobody, short of very successful YouTubers maybe, really enjoys going to work, right? Like, we don't sit back and secretly go, man, I'm loving the idea of going out and working 9 to 5 on the construction yard today in 35-degree cold or 95-degree heat. It's just great. Like, no, right? Like, that's not how occupations work in this world for most people. For those of you who are lucky enough to be in that situation or have fought your way to get in that situation, good for you. But your occupation matters. It will never be perfect, but it must be agreeable. This is the one I'm stumbling on right now. Because for the rest, I'm kind of on the right page, but my occupation is just not right now. I'm in a situation that I was not necessarily lied to, but I was not given full information as to what I would be getting myself into. And I'm doing it as sort of an attempt to see if I could do something higher quality than I'm used to. I don't want to say I'm failing, but I'm definitely not succeeding, and I'm definitely having other things that have outside of work issues as well. But your occupation matters because it's basically the thing you spend your day doing, right? You spend your day at work, you spend your day on the job. And so if your job is not right, that's usually a sign that everything else is going to be difficult too. Um, how can you change this? Well, some people will just say get a new job, but this is 2017. It's really not that easy for a lot of people. I mean, you could get a different job. You can go from Dunkin' Donuts to McDonald's, but unless you get a big pay raise that makes your other situation matter, your finances, if it makes your finances better, maybe that alleviates some of your stress. But generally speaking, you need a degree to get a job, and you need schooling to get a degree, and you need money to get schooling, so you're pretty much screwed. Um, so don't look for perfect, look for agreeable. If you have a bad manager, see if you can change shifts. If your job is not what you want it to be and it's entry level, if it's something you can get without a degree, try something different. There's no harm in it. Um, I'm going to seize on something that Extra Credits said about fire early. You know, if something looks like it's a problem, get out early rather than try to fight through it. That's another one of the things I'm drawing from in my own life right now. Um, if you are just stepping into an occupation and it doesn't seem like it's working out, give it a fair assessment, figure out why. But if there's something there that's unique to that place or seems unique to that place, try a different place if you can at all. Even if you transfer within the same company, like again, I'll use Dunkin' Donuts. There are 3 Dunkin' Donuts within a 5-block radius of my house. They just built a new one. They just built the 3rd one. They closed one down, which means people had to reapply for their old jobs. So I guess there's only 2 Dunkin' Donuts in my neighborhood now. But you wouldn't know that based on the plan that they put forward, and they added a drive-through. So I guess woohoo. Um, the bottom line is, occupations where I'm having my issues. Maybe that's why I'm talking this through with you. But try to get to at least a different branch of the same business to see if it's just the business that's the problem or if it's the branch that's the problem. Third, your connections matter. Value peers, friends, and lovers who you get along positively with. My wife has been nothing but supportive of my YouTube channel. I mean, she doesn't think, hey, you're going to be a millionaire off this thing, baby. But she says, like, oh, you got a new subscriber? You went up one? Like, that's great. And that means a lot to me. But she's been supportive throughout everything that I've done. I can't say enough good things about her. We're not perfect. We don't have a perfect relationship, but we damn sure have a good one. It's the same with my friends. I mean, my closest friends have been friends with me since high school. And I'm in my early to mid 30s. So that ought to tell you what I look for in a friend. Not that I don't have newer friends. I mean, the people across the street from me that I just met a year ago are getting to be good friends. But that's a different sort of ball game. But peers, especially peers at work, every job, and this ties into the occupation thing too, has that guy who's just a downer, isn't any fun, isn't really worth spending your time around. And try not to be that person, for one, but for two, try to avoid that person. Don't always think, especially if you're new, that it's your job to save them. It's one thing if you've been around for 3 years and you know Bob's going through a bad time. But if Bob's just a jerk, don't be around Bob. Maybe that will improve your occupation, which will improve your environment. See where I'm getting at here? But finally, most of all, your will matters. You must will positivity into existence even when things seem their bleakest. I'm not going to lie to you. I've had some pretty bleak moments recently. I've had some pretty bleak moments in my life, too. I mean, one thing that I will always remember is, helping my dad get a liver transplant when he was on the door of death, and he's been alive for 3 years almost. And it's like, he would have died if we didn't save his life. And we did. And things were pretty fucking bleak. And now I'm going to get demonetized, but I don't really care because this video is not about monetization. Things were bleak, and I had to fight my way to be positive. And even there, my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, was there with me. My occupation at the time, I was in a different position, and everyone was really great to me at work. They loved me. They knew my dad. They loved my dad. My environment, it was okay. It was stable. It was both a positive and a negative in a sense because it had all the good and all the bad. I was living at home with my dad, taking care of my dad. I had moved in after a bad relationship. It's a long story. But the point is, your will matters. You have to fight to be positive even when things are not positive. I know it's cliche and trite and downright foolish to just say, well, be positive and everything will turn out fine. Like, no, it won't. That's not the way the world works. But be positive and things have a chance to turn out right. If you dwell on negativity, things are going to go wrong. You're going to find all the wrong. And then you're never going to be able to see, well, what's good because you're looking for bad. Look for good, even if all you find is bad, because at least you're still looking in the right direction. I don't know if this is going to help any of you. I don't know if anyone's going to see this. It really doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to make this video because it gets something off of my chest. It lets me talk a little more freely than I could talk normally. I have this little persona to hide behind after all, and I'm not going to show this to anyone too important until after I've made my decisions. But, thank you for joining me. And I say that after every video. And it's true. And I mean, I say la paz after every video too, because that means the peace, which is something that my one friend got me into saying because he used to say it. And he said to only say it for important things. And I think the ending of a video is kind of important. It's like, hey, let's end it with peace. So thank you all for joining me. And as always on this channel, La Paz.